whenever this comes up in conversation, if you're in an argument with like a neoliberal YIMBY pro-density type, they'll say, well, we're not Europe. You could be saying, what about Vienna? What about Barcelona? What about Berlin? What about all of these European countries who have a different, a housing model that seems to be efficiently providing affordable housing, at least at a rate that's puts us to shame.
Yeah.
And they'll say, and what they'll say is just, we're not Europe. Like the rules work differently. This is North America. And again, they'll say something about how it doesn't pencil out.
Yeah.
So what do you say to those naysayers? Like, when they say like, it's just a different economy and a different environment.
So yes and no. They designed the system, just like we design a system. And I think that I hear that frequently as well. Right, where it's like it's a different place. You can't do that. Where it's like, actually, we can do it because we design the system. We create the system, right? Why can't we do it? We created this system. Why can't we change the system? All of this actually, again, comes to heads because what winds up happening. There's been a huge thing. As you know, I've written a lot of stuff about this default that we have, and a lot of people come and say, why has this become the default? Right? That's the usual thing. And hopefully I'll write something. I have something in the works down to try and explain this. And the only way that I can explain it is that so far, historically, if you look at Vancouver, a lot of the model that we created is based in the 80s, Expo 86, right? Where it dealt with lot assembly, big buildings, right? And that way to provide. So what happened around that, I would argue, is that the ecosystem that we designed was born. The lenders started going, okay, here's how this is going to work. Here's how the regulators are going to, here are the toggles that we're going to start using, CACs and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And all of those were designed elements. And I think we have to remember that, is that people were trying to solve a problem. That problem at that time was hyper-specific. It usually dealt with, again, big lots, huge projects. And it kind of went down the path to where now we think that is the only way to do it without recognizing actually the people that were here designed that, right? And now we're trying to enact that in a completely different geopolitical and social context. We're trying to take, Expo 86 lands and be like, oh, actually this system, it works there, so why can't we just plunk that all in every single neighborhood of Vancouver, right? And again, when you start thinking about it, I'd like to think in those terms, it begins to make less and less sense, right? So, but you're seeing the same systems in play. And that's why things do or don't pencil out, right? Because there's already been a system that's in place. And again, people who don't get called out enough are lenders, banks who want their cut and they demand certain things from developers and certain percentages and assurances, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
It's so deep.
Right?
Yeah, it's so, the bureaucracy is so deep and entrenched.